5 things that you can do to manage a panic attack. We're the Happy Headers, and today we're going to stick with us right to the end because we're going to show you all about panic attacks.
Yeah, panic attacks happen everybody, don't they?
Well, I don't know if they happen everybody. Everybody gets nervous anyway, that's for sure. I think we all have an element of anxiety, but how would you identify a panic attack?
This is the thing. It's really obviously when you're panicking. So what the signs that you're panicking is you're going to notice it in your breath first. You're going to notice that you're breathing from here, very shallow breaths. And that you're not thinking properly, you're not thinking straight. Your thinking is purely emotional in that moment. It's not logical, rational. It's not, I'm having a panic attack. I wonder.
Yeah, we're not thinking logically in our minds when we're having a panic attack.
You are reacting to physiological stimulus within your body. And you're not thinking straight. So to acknowledge that, first of all, is a good start.
Absolutely. So I suppose once you realise that you're coming into a panic attack, I would say that even before that starts, you're going to notice if you're feeling very nervous. So our hashtag number 1 is deep breathing, and to just focus on your breath initially. Now, it's never a good idea to focus on your breath when you're in a panic attack, when it's fully fledged in there, because it just makes the thoughts worse. But if you can feel the anxiety building in you, try and take deep breaths. And the reason for this is because when you start to take shallow breaths, you're not getting enough oxygen to your heart, and thus it starts to work harder to pump that oxygen, or the lack thereof, to your brain. So that's why we start to get dizzy and our heart is pounding and we start sweating, because we're not getting enough oxygen to our brain. So if you can take slow, deep breaths into your tummy, just release and let go, that should help.
You see, because when you think of it, you draw the breath in, so you slow down your lungs, but it also slows down your heartbeat, and then it calms down your mind. So it's a knock-on effect to 3 things. So the thing is to realise that you can control your breath. If you say, I can't breathe, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
If you let your head get involved.
So you say, okay, I need to do this. And once you start doing that, you begin to get some mental clarity. And number 2 on our list is to actually focus on some objects outside of yourself. So I remember my tutor, he was on a plane, he was flying somewhere, and he happened to sit beside a lady who was anxious about flying. She had a fear of flying.
Oh my God.
So she sat beside one of the best hypnotherapists in the country at the time.
Nice.
And he simply got her to focus her attention on the overhead light, and just to notice every little detail about that, and what kind of thoughts popped into her head. And she was totally distracted by that. He had her in a state of trance without formally having her in hypnosis. And she got through the flight fine.
Oh my gosh, fabulous. Yeah, the element of distraction of outside things is essential, I think, really, in managing panic attacks, because you have to engage the frontal cortex of your brain to do that, and if you stay in the panic, then you're going to stay stuck on your amygdala, which is your fight, flight or freeze mechanism in your brain, which is very primal, actually.
It is. Its primary purpose is survive.
That's it.
And it'll do anything to survive. So it's not, again, it's not thinking logically or rationally. So our point is really that you can control how you react to all of these stimulus. One of the things you'll notice when you get a panic attack is that you tense up. Everything tenses up completely. And this seize up of this kind of a freezing thing. And when you do that, it's a primitive response, but you have to acknowledge that what you're actually doing is you're cutting off the blood supply to your brain. So you're not thinking properly, and your heart is squeezed, everything is squeezed. So when you squeeze to the max and then you release, it kind of gets the flow of energy again. Because when you think about when you go to a gym, you lift a weight, you're doing curls, you tense up the muscle and then you relax it on the downward motion. So deliberately tense and untense your fists, for example, or your toes. And this acts as a muscle relaxing, but it's also a distraction too, because now you're thinking about your toes.
Which brings us nicely into our number 3 tip for managing the panic attack, which is relaxing your muscles. Maybe engage in a little bit of mindfulness, push your heels into the floor and then go up on your tippy toes, push them into the floor, It's the release and tense motion, that helps you kind of focus on something a bit different.
And you notice too that you've got self-talk going on. We all have self-talk going on. We talk to ourselves 24/7. We tell ourselves how life is, how people are, how situations are, and what we tell ourselves is true. At least we believe it to be true.
You trust your own voice at the end of the day.
So if you're saying, I'm panicking, I can't breathe, I'm going to die, your mind tries to make that true.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to die, but it dumps every bit of information you have in your awareness about fear and death and harm and all of that. So a better thing to do is to control your self-talk and say, I'm going to be okay. I've had panic attacks before, I've got through them, I'm going to be okay. It's like bad weather, it comes in. And you could get really upset about it and be all consumed about it. You can go, that's just weather, the sun is going to come out again.
Yeah. Hashtag number 4, lads, engaging your senses. So I would always do this with my clients. It's one of the most effective things I find for an actual panic attack, and that is to engage the 5 senses of the body. So pick out 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch them and identify them, then 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can taste, and 1 thing that you can smell. And this is a fabulous way of engaging that frontal cortex again and reducing the panic.
And finally, find a safe place that you can send your mind. This is something that you need to set up beforehand. I do it all the time. I have several places that I can send my mind for different mental experiments that I'm conducting. But to find a safe place or a happy place, I would say to somebody, what's the happiest you've ever been? Where's the nicest place you've ever visited? The time that you were most relaxed? Was it sitting on that beach somewhere with the sound of the waves and smells in the air?
Menorca, lads.
Menorca.
Lovely.
Okay. Hashtag Menorca. So I get the person to re-experience that. And again, when you start thinking about nice, pleasant experiences of relaxation you've had before, your mind dumps all the data it has available into your awareness. And not only does this data engage with your logical part of your mind, but it also affects your muscles. Because if you're thinking like, what it's like to relax in a nice warm bath, straight away you feel that and your muscles feel that, and you get this sense of relaxing. And the thing that I anchor this with is an NLP thing, call an NLP anchor. It's a physical thing you do, simply touching thumb and finger together.
He's done this with me, lads. It's so good.
Some people do it with that finger, it doesn't really matter. Some people do, it's a physical thing that you do that sets off a chain reaction in your head. You kind of go, every time I think of my nice, relaxing, safe, happy, warm place, I do this. And every time you do this, then you go to your nice, happy, safe place. And the thing is to rehearse this before you need it.
Mine is like snuggling up in bed.
Yeah.
But definitely rehearsing it before you need it. I always say to people, do it several times a day. Engage the 5 senses several times a day when you're not in a panic, because then automatically that's your go-to when the panic starts, So you want to have an automatic thought. Automatic positive thoughts are so important and can be installed if you practice.
So, we're Happy Headers. Like us, subscribe to us, and comment down below what are the things that you do when you experience panic.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.